You've probably grown up believing a few heartwarming dog truths, like how they heal themselves by licking their wounds, or how they live just to make their humans happy. And then there's the one everyone loves. When a dog leans against you, it means love. Always. It sounds comforting. But what if some of these aren't entirely true? What if that lean means something else, something deeper, or something you've missed all along? In this video, we'll uncover the science behind 8 of the most common dog beliefs. If you've shared a lifetime with dogs, this might change the way you see them forever. 1. Not all dogs can swim, and some can drown fast. If you've shared a lifetime with dogs, this might change the way you see them forever. You might remember tossing a ball into a lake, watching your retriever leap after it with joy. For many, that's the picture of summer. Dogs and water. They just go together. Right. But here's a question. Most people never ask, what if some dogs weren't built for swimming at all? What if that splash you thought was play was actually panic? Think about a bulldog, that wide chest, short legs, and flat face. Now, picture it in deep water. That's not swimming. That's sinking, with style. It's like asking someone in boots and a winter coat to win a freestyle race. While breeds like retrievers or spaniels glide naturally, others struggle against their own body design. And yet for decades, we've believed the myth all dogs know how to swim. The American Kennel Club has made it clear swimming isn't instinctual for every dog. Some sink fast, some tire quickly, and some terrified freeze up. Drowning becomes more than a risk. It becomes real. So if you've ever thought, my dog will figure it out, stop. That belief could cost you everything. A doggy life jacket isn't silly. It's smart. Introducing water slowly isn't overprotective. It's love in action. But if dogs can't all swim, what other myths are we still believing? And what if the next one doesn't just confuse us, but hurts them more than we realize? Let's talk about something we've all seen and maybe even encouraged: dogs licking their wounds. Is that nature's medicine? Or a silent danger? 2. Licking wounds doesn't heal, it hurts. You've probably seen it 100 times. Your dog gets a small cut, and before you can even grab the first aid kit, that pink tongue is already at work. There's something oddly comforting about it, isn't there? Like watching a child patch up their own scraped knee. We've been told for generations that dogs can heal themselves by licking. It sounds like nature's built-in medicine. But what if that's not healing? It's harm in disguise. Here's the truth. Most people don't see that tongue is like sandpaper. Every lick reopens the wound just a little more, pushing bacteria deeper, turning a scratch into a crater. Imagine cleaning a paper cut with a rusty brush. That's what repeated licking does to a dog's skin. For a moment, it looks like care. In reality, it's chaos. Veterinarians have studied this for years. Dog saliva does contain mild antibacterial properties, yes, but not enough to fight infection. In fact, constant licking can invite bacteria in delaying healing and even causing hot spots, those angry raw circles you might have seen on a dog's leg. What starts as love ends in pain. That's why cones and bandages exist, not to punish them, but to protect them from themselves. So next time your dog licks a wound, pause. Ask yourself, is this instinct or anxiety? Because sometimes dogs lick not to heal, but to soothe. The same way humans pace or fidget, when nervous licking can be a stress signal, a plea for comfort, not a cure. And that brings us to another act we often mistake for love, one that feels warm, human, and innocent. You wrap your arms around your dog, and it freezes. You think it's bonding. But could that hug actually be saying, I'm scared. 3. Most dogs don't like hugs. They tolerate them. Have you ever pulled your dog into a tight hug, resting your chin on their head, thinking, "You're safe now, buddy"? It feels good, doesn't it? Like wrapping your arms around years of loyalty. But while your heart melts, have you noticed your dog's body stiffen just a little? The way their eyes dart away. The lip lick. The slow blink. It's easy to miss. But those tiny signals are their way of saying, "Please stop." Dogs don't hug. In their world, physical closeness isn't always comfort. It can mean dominance, tension, even threat. Imagine someone you barely know grabbing you in a bear hug from behind. That flash of discomfort you'd feel. That's what many dogs experience every time we squeeze them. Researchers at the University of British Columbia studied this exact behavior. They found that over 80% of dogs showed visible signs of stress when being hugged. Not indifference, stress. And it's not because they don't love us. It's because hugging is a human language, not theirs. The tricky part: some dogs tolerate it because they love us. But tolerance isn't the same as enjoyment. Think of the grandparent who lets their toddler grandchild yank their ear, not because they like it, but because love is patient. But should patience ever mean discomfort? There are better ways to say, "I love you" in dog language. A slow ear rub, a scratch behind the shoulder blade, a calm voice. Because affection isn't about how we express it. It's about how they receive it. And yet, there's another everyday moment we misread, one that's even more misunderstood. What if your dog rushes ahead of you through doors? Is that defiance? Or just excitement misunderstood as rebellion? 4. Your dog. Rushing through doors isn't a power move. You're standing at the door, keys in hand. Before you even turn the knob, your dog's already there, pawing at the frame, ready to charge ahead, like a four-legged torpedo. The moment the door cracks open, whoosh, they bolt through like they own the place. And maybe you've heard someone say, "You shouldn't let your dog walk ahead." That means they think they're the alpha. It's a line repeated in obedience, blogs, dog parks, and old-school training videos. The idea that door dominance determines pack leadership sounds logical. Until you realize your dog isn't trying to conquer territory. They're just excited. Really excited. Like a kid at recess who hears the bell and runs. Not to lead, just to go. There's no scientific evidence linking door order with dominance. None. In fact, behaviorists agree most dogs rush simply because they want to get there faster. It's not about being the boss. It's about being curious, being joyful, being in motion. Think of it this way: if your best friend reached the coffee shop before you, does that mean they've seized control of your social hierarchy? Or does it just mean they walk fast when caffeine is involved? Now, does that mean you should let your dog yank you through every threshold like a sled? Of course not. Training them to pause at doors isn't about showing them who's in charge. It's about keeping them safe. A busy street, an unexpected car, 1 second of hesitation could save a life. So yes, teach boundaries, but not because you're afraid of losing control. Teach them because you love them. And that brings us to a deeper belief, one that sounds flattering but might be misleading. Have you ever said, "My dog just wants to make me happy"? It's a beautiful thought. But is it truly why they obey? Or is there something more calculated behind those puppy eyes? 5. Dogs don't obey. Out of love, it's just smart learning. We love the idea, don't we? That dogs follow our commands because they adore us. That when they sit, stay, or roll over, it's their way of saying, "I live to make you happy." It's a story we want to believe, a fairy tale of devotion, loyalty, and pure-hearted obedience. But what if it's not love driving those actions? What if it's something far more practical? And a lot more canine. Let's rewind. You say sit, and your dog lowers their haunches. You smile, toss them a treat, maybe scratch behind the ears. Now ask yourself, is your dog doing it out of affection? Or have they simply connected the dots? Cue equals reward. Action equals benefit. It's not worship, it's math. The University of Vienna studied this dynamic closely. Their research confirmed what many trainers already know: dogs respond to positive reinforcement, not emotional obligation. They're not little furry saints. They're learners, pattern readers, deal makers. And in their world, being a good dog means knowing which behaviors lead to belly rubs, treats praise, or avoiding that sharp, no think of it like this. If every time you washed the dishes, someone handed you $100 bill, you'd become the tidiest person on your block. Not because you love washing, but because the reward is worth it. That's your dog. They're not trying to impress you. They're securing the payout. Now that doesn't make their affection any less real. A dog can love you and want a snack. The beauty is, they've learned that making you happy often brings good things their way. But don't confuse trained response with selfless love. So next time your dog listens perfectly, don't say, "He just wants to please me." Say, "We've built a good system together." Because that system is built on consistency, not magic. But here's the twist. What if we reward the wrong thing? What if in trying to stop bad behavior like growling, we actually teach our dogs to skip the warning and go straight to danger? 6. Punishing. Growling turns warnings into bites. Picture this: your dog lets out a low, rumbling growl. Maybe it's over a bone, a stranger, or a sudden movement. Your instinct kicks in. No, you snap, firm and sharp. You think you're stopping bad behavior. But what if in that moment you're silencing something vital? What if that growl was never aggression, but a gift? Growling is one of the most misunderstood sounds in the dog world. It's not a threat, it's a warning, a red flag, a yellow light saying, "I'm uncomfortable. Please slow down." Dogs don't want to bite. Biting is the last resort, the final page in a book full of signals. But if we keep ripping out the earlier pages, the growl, the lip curl, the glance away, we leave them with no choice but the ending. The American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior says it clearly punishing a dog for growling doesn't solve the problem. It buries it. And buried stress doesn't disappear, it festers. The next time, instead of growling, your dog might skip the warning altogether. And that's how people get bitten out of nowhere. Imagine a world where you weren't allowed to say, "I'm not okay." You'd go quiet, smile pretend until one day you snapped. That's exactly what happens when we treat growling like disobedience. We erase their voice. Instead of punishment, ask why. Why is your dog growling? Is the space too tight? Is the touch too rough? Are they scared guarding or just confused? When we treat the growl as communication, not defiance, we earn their trust instead of fear. And this brings us to another misunderstood interaction. One so common, it's almost a ritual. When you meet a new dog, what's the first thing you do? You reach out your hand. But what if that gesture, that polite, well-meaning hand, isn't the invitation you think it is? 7. Letting a dog sniff you first. That's not always smart. It feels like a universal rule, doesn't it? You meet a new dog, you kneel slightly, stretch out your hand, and wait for that curious nose to make contact. It's polite, respectful, a canine handshake, right? But what if that ritual we've all been taught is completely backward? Imagine this. You're sitting in a quiet cafe and a stranger suddenly leans inches from your face, staring, waiting for you to respond. Would you feel welcomed or invaded? That's what it's like for many dogs when a human hand appears in their space before they've even said hello. According to behaviorists at Tufts University, thrusting your hand toward a dog, especially head-on, can actually increase stress and trigger defensive behavior. Dogs don't need your hand in their face to decide how they feel about you. In fact, most would prefer space and time. What they're really watching is your body language, how you move, stand, breathe. So what should you do instead? Just be still. Let them come to you. A neutral stance, relaxed shoulders, no eye contact. These are dog safe signals that say, I'm not a threat. You choose if we meet. When a dog chooses the approach, you're not forcing trust, you're earning it. This flips a major belief on its head that humans must initiate the bond. But with dogs, true connection starts when we step back, not forward. And respecting that space is especially crucial for older dogs, rescues, or breeds prone to fear responses. So, the next time your hand twitches, to extend pause. Let the dog make the first move. Because in their world, the safest choice is silence before touch. And speaking of touch, what happens when that touch becomes weight? When your dog leans their whole body into yours, warm and heavy, is it love or something more complicated? What if that simple lean carries more meaning than any word you've ever said to each other? 8. Leaning can mean love, or something else entirely. It's the moment that melts us. You're sitting quietly, and your dog walks over and presses their body into yours, solid, warm, gentle. You freeze, smile, and think, this is love. And sometimes it is. That kind of lean can feel like an unspoken, I'm here with you. I trust you. But what if not every lean is born from affection? What if the message behind that contact is softer or more complex? Dogs lean for different reasons, and not all of them are about closeness. Some lean because they're anxious, unsure, and they need your stability, not your affection. In those moments, you're not a partner in love, you're an anchor in a storm. Others lean as a subtle way to claim space, especially in multi-dog households or around new people. It's not aggressive. It's quiet body politics. A lean can be comfort or control. The American College of Veterinary Behaviorists has studied this nuance for years. What they've found is simple leaning is communication. But to understand the language, you have to read the whole paragraph, their ears, their tail, their breathing. A relaxed sigh and soft eyes that lean says, I'm safe. But a stiff body, a turned head, wide eyes that might say, I don't know what else to do. So the next time your dog presses against you, don't just assume. Watch. Listen. Be curious. Because love might be there, or something deeper might be calling for your attention. And now that we've peeled back the layers of these everyday myths, from swimming to hugs to leans, there's one final behavior that catches every dog owner off guard. It happens when you least expect it. Your dog walks into the room, locks eyes with you for a moment, and walks away. You weren't eating. You weren't calling. So why do they keep checking on you? The reason might be stranger and sweeter than you think. Now you know not every lean is love, not every lick is healing, and not every wag means joy. Our dogs live in a world of signals, small moments, and subtle messages. And for those of us who've shared years, even decades with them, maybe the most powerful thing we can do is start listening better. Because behind every habit we thought we understood, there's often a deeper truth. A dog's trust isn't loud. It's in the pause before they lie beside you, the glance back as they walk ahead, the quiet lean when the room goes still. So the next time your dog does something small, something you've seen 100 times, take a breath and ask, what are you really trying to tell me? If this video helped you see your dog in a new light, stay with us. There's so much more ahead. More insights, more science, more quiet truths hidden in fur and eyes and silence. Subscribe to the channel, not just for more videos, but to keep growing in how we love, protect, and understand our companions. Because they've always been watching us. Maybe now, it's time we start watching back.